Now, as we wait for PulseChain to launch, it might be worth taking note of a free airdrop that exists that could get you possibly a few $100s, and you don't have to do anything apart from having been in one of the sacrifices that qualifies. Now, these guys are Coast. They're a team of guys that create various apps around the Hex ecosystem, and if you click on this link, that takes you to the correct site, so you avoid any dodgy scam sites or anything. So this is the correct account. You can see they have 11k followers. So you go to Coast, the coast.com site, and you come here. This shows you what they're involved in. They're creating on-ramps, off-ramps. They've got a stable coin coming, digital account, so you've got a wallet coming. They're doing bridges, so they're involved in a hell of a lot of projects. So these are some of the other projects. I don't know what these two are. I've never looked into them. I might do that later after this video. But this is the one I'm interested in bringing you information about. This is the weight token. If you click into that, it opens up this page here, which is the app. So you can click to go into the app there. You can launch the app, or you can learn more. What we'll do is we'll just quickly look at what it is in a little bit of detail. Now, this is the white paper. As you know, with white papers, they can be quite long, so I'm not going to go through all of this. But what I do want to show you is just the introduction. So this is $weight, PulseChain pre-release token. Weight can be minted by those who have sacrificed for global political freedoms. And you can see the date here. Now, I've been watching this token almost since this period, so it's almost approaching a year now. I think just afterwards, maybe a couple of months after this, I started watching this. And so far, I've heard nobody have any problems with it. So, I mean, you've got to do your own due diligence, DYOR, do your own checks. No financial advice here. I'm just bringing you a bit of info for entertainment. This is the table, and I'm not going to go through all of this. You can do that in your own time if you're interested. What I do want to do is just go through the introduction, just these bits here, to get you introduced to what it's about. So what is Weight? Weight is an ERC20 smart contract that tokenizes time spent waiting for the launch of PulseChain. So this is very relevant right now, as we expect testnet to launch and then mainnet to launch quite quickly afterwards. The new DPoS Ethereum fork being created by Richard Hart. While alluded to, the PulseChain release date has never been confirmed, leaving the community to continuously wait for development. Coast intends to gamify this period and give free weight tokens to anyone who sacrificed for Pulse and/or PulseX. We have further included the sacrifices for 6 other projects building on PulseChain. Weight uses a combination of on-chain smart contracts, connectors, and off-chain data sources to create the ETH and BSC sacrifice sets for each of the 8 supported projects. This system allows claimers to quickly check their ETH address against sacrifice balance before minting their weight. Due to time and usability constraints, Coast is only able to support those who sacrifice on the Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain blockchains. This was a difficult decision, but something we felt was in the best interests of the project. The total supply of weight will depend on the launch date for PulseChain. Every hour that passes before Pulse launches entitles each address in the sacrifice sent to mint additional weight. Before you rush to claim, please note that you can only claim one time from each sacrifice. So if you claim your weight from the Pulse sacrifice on launch day, July the 5th, so you can see this has been running since July the 5th last year. So I know already people who have already claimed their weights, and they've done it very early, but I stood the test, and I'm just hanging on before the launch, hopefully, and I don't wait too long. And Pulse doesn't launch until Christmas. You've missed out on a total of 4,272 weight. Yeah, so basically, the longer you wait, the more tokens you accumulate. You get 1 token per hour per sacrifice. So you can see that's 24 weight tokens per day per sacrifice. Because it is impossible to know when the PulseChain will launch, the weight contract requires that a manager function be added be run post fork. This function can only be run one time on each chain, Pulse and Ethereum. The manager function halts all the weight token claims, distributes the midnight bonus, and locks the manager from all future non-public functions. We appreciate that this is an imperfect solution, so if you could ask Richard Pulse to tell us when the launch day, we'll hard code it into the contract. So there is something called the midnight bonus, which you can see on the table of contents. You can read that in your own time. I'm not going to go through all of that because there's a lot of stuff. I don't want this to be too long, so we'll just go through the last bit. In addition to the proprietary code, existing technologies were combined and or modified by our developers to create weight. Reconnecting the Pulse and Sacrifice community is integral to long-term project stability. The Coast team acknowledges the power of strong long-term commitments to development and investing. From that, there is always potential that a project may or may not utilize weight in the future as a key tool. In terms of providing value, weight upon pre-launch and launch cannot directly market any potential form of monetary or technical value. Right, so these are the sacrifices that qualify. Acknowledged sacrifices. The following 8 sacrifices have been accumulating weight since the final day of their sacrifice period. The calculation and total potential supply can be found in section 2.1. For reference, we accept the following as end of date for each sacrifice. So you can see the dates there. They've all got different dates. So obviously this was the first one, PulseChain. So these are the 8 sacrifice sets. So if you sacrificed for any of these, then you can claim your weight. So if we go back into the dApp now, and we launch the dApp, you can see that this, you can't see the menu on the left, it's just outside of the screen, but this is the dashboard. And so what you can do is connect here. You can connect your MetaMask or other wallets here. You can check eligibility. There's a bit more info here. On the left, you won't be able to see that, but there's a claim button. And when you click the claim button, it takes you to this screen here. Now, the only problem with this section is here, once you collect your wallet, is you actually have to pay a fee just to check. But you can bypass that through something they call the demo site, which I'll show you in a minute. So this is the process. I've never done this process because I'm still waiting. So you can visit the demo site, which is here, and it says you can check your eligibility against the same database without connecting your wallet. So if you're worried about connecting your wallet, you can do it this way, and you don't have to pay any gas fees. Just paste in your ETH address. So this is the simplest way to check your weight. You just put your address in here, you click this button, and then you get this kind of screen here. And if you've got something eligible, these will come up green. So I've only got 2 out of the 8, so I've got these 2. So these come up green, and it tells me how many weight I've got at the moment. So weight is basically like a game of chicken. So if you see this diagram here, this is you in the car waiting, charging towards the PulseChain launch, which is this truck here. And if you claim the weight token before it launches, then you get all the tokens. If you don't claim and PulseChain launches, it's too late. It all gets cut off and you don't get anything. So what is the value of weight at the moment? Let's go to that screen here, and we can see that this is the current value of weight. It's 0.02 cents per token. And you can see the graph here. This is the graph of the full existence, which is just under a year. So that's the all-time high there. And at that stage, I had almost $200 worth of weight token. But I had a lot less because that was in September. So I've now accumulated a lot more, but it's dropped in price about 80%. So I think my weight's worth about $75. So what I'll do is when I think probably V3's launching, or has launched shortly afterwards, I'll check what the gas fee is. And if it's worth claiming, I'll give it a claim. So it might be worth checking your weight to see if you can get any free airdrops there. Potentially a couple of $100, $300. If you got all of these, you could be claiming more than $500 potentially there. So worth having a look.